I need you to listen very carefully. What I am about to tell you isn't something you will find on the evening news. They call it coincidence. They call it geopolitical friction. But I've spent the last 5 years of my life connecting dots that were never meant to be connected. And I can tell you this, there are no accidents. Have you ever felt it? That subtle vibration in the air, the feeling that the world is holding its breath. We all felt the shift in 2024, the tremors in 2025. But 2026 isn't just another year on the calendar. It is a convergence point, a singularity. My name doesn't matter. What matters is what I found. I'm a historian by trade, a skeptic by nature. I used to laugh at prophecies, Nostradamus, the Book of Revelation, the Hopi tablets. I viewed them as metaphors, stories to frighten children or control the masses. That was before I found the file. It started innocently enough. I was researching obscure theological texts from the 12th century for a university paper. I stumbled upon a recurring phrase in manuscripts separated by thousands of miles and hundreds of years. The translation roughly means the unseen hand moves when the 3 pillars fall. At first, I ignored it, but then I looked at the world around us, the economic shifts, the sudden alliances, the strange weather anomalies defying our climate models. I fed the data into an algorithmic model, cross-referencing ancient prophetic timelines with current global events. The result chilled me to the bone. The algorithm didn't just find similarities, it found a perfect mirror. We are living through a script written thousands of years ago. The unseen hand is no longer a metaphor. It is an active force shaping the events of 2026 with terrifying precision. And the scariest part? It's not happening in the shadows anymore. It's happening in plain sight, but we are too distracted to see it. I discovered that 2026 marks the beginning of what the ancients called the Great Unveiling. But what is being unveiled isn't peace, it's a restructuring of reality itself. Yesterday, I tried to publish my findings on a history forum. Within 10 minutes, the post was deleted. Within an hour, my internet connection was severed. Someone doesn't want you to know that the chaos we are seeing is actually a plan. I'm going to share the rest of the prophecy with you, but I have to be careful. The next part involves a specific date in early 2026 that has been hidden in plain sight in our monuments, our currency, and our very history books. But before I reveal the first major sign of the prophecy, I need to ask you something. Look out your window. Look at the headlines today. Do you truly believe you are in control? Or can you feel the strings being pulled? Tell me in the comments, I see the strings. I wasn't sure if I'd be able to upload this. After the blackout yesterday, I found a black sedan parked across the street from my apartment. It's been there for 6 hours. They know I have the file, but I have to get this out before the date arrives. In the last video, I told you about the phrase, the unseen hand moves when the 3 pillars fall. You need to understand what these pillars are, because the first one is already crumbling, and the media is painting it as progress. The prophecy I uncovered, let's call it the Codex of Silhouettes, identifies the first pillar as the illusion of value. For decades, we've believed that our money, our digital assets, and our property rights were solid, but the text predicts a specific event for early 2026. It speaks of a silent wind that erases the ledger. Does that sound familiar? Look at the banking glitches we've seen recently, the crypto volatility, the central banks pushing for total digital control. The prophecy claims that in 2026, a global reset won't be a political decision, it will be a divine compulsion. The unseen hand forces humanity to realize that material wealth is dust. I found a footnote in the translation that points to March 23, 2026. The text describes, "On the day of the vernal shadow, the gold will turn to lead, and the kings will stand naked before the storm."
I ran a simulation on the global markets based on this date. The volatility index spiked off the charts. It suggests a total inversion of the financial system. But here is the terrifying part. It's not designed to destroy us. It's designed to humble us, to prepare us for what comes next. The unseen hand is stripping away our distractions. Why? Because you cannot see the spiritual reality if you are obsessed with the material illusion. They want us empty-handed for the second pillar. And the second pillar, God, I wish I haven't translated that part. The second pillar isn't about money, it's about belief. It's about the things you trust to keep you safe at night. The sedan outside just turned its lights on. I have to make this quick. The second pillar concerns the false idols of safety, and according to the timeline, it begins not in a bank, but in the sky. Interactive hook. I'm going to reveal what the sky brings in the next part, but I need to know if you are ready to hear it. If the economy collapsed tomorrow, if your bank account hit zero, would you still have faith or would you break? Comment below. I would stand. Let them know we aren't afraid of the reset.
I'm recording this from a burner phone. I had to leave the apartment. The moment I uploaded the last video, my power cut out. Just my unit, no one else's. That wasn't a glitch, that was a warning. But I'm not stopping. If you are seeing this, the algorithm hasn't flagged the Codex keywords yet. We talked about the money. Now we have to talk about the sky. The second pillar. The Codex of Silhouettes calls it the fall of the Watchers. For the last 20 years, we have built a digital cage around ourselves and called it security. Satellites, GPS, the internet, the cloud. We believe that as long as we are connected, we are safe. We treat the signal like a god. We pray to it for answers, for direction, for validation. But the prophecy for mid-2026 predicts an event called the Great Blinking. The text reads, "When the eye of the heavens closes, the iron birds will lose their path, and the voices of the air will turn to ash." I cross-referenced this with solar cycle predictions for 2026. NASA is predicting a solar maximum, yes, but the Codex predicts something far more specific than a solar flare. It describes a null frequency, a vibration not from the sun, but outside our solar system that doesn't just disrupt electronics, it neutralizes them. Imagine it. No internet, no GPS, no military comms. The unseen hand is going to sever the connection that binds us to the artificial world. Why? Because you cannot hear the divine if you are constantly listening to the digital. The terrifying part of the second pillar isn't the silence itself, it's what comes after the silence. The manuscript says that when the digital noise stops, the forgotten sense will awaken. I think they're trying to stop me from telling you this because they're afraid of what we will become when the screens go dark. They want us dependent. The unseen hand wants us awake. But there is a final piece, the third pillar. The money falls, the tech falls. What is left? You. The third pillar is the most personal. It's written in our DNA, and the Codex of Silhouettes suggests that in late 2026, the unseen hand won't just touch our world, it will touch our biology. Did you hear that? I don't think I'm alone out here. Listen to me. If the screens go dark tomorrow, if the internet disappears forever, who do you become? Do you descend into chaos, or do you finally wake up? I need to know who is with me. Type, "I am awake" in the comments. I need to know the army is ready for the third pillar. I had to ditch the car. They were tracking the tires. I don't know how much time I have left before they sweep this sector, but I have to tell you the final piece of the puzzle, the third pillar. We talked about the money collapsing. We talked about the technology failing. Those are external. You can run from a bank crash. You can survive a blackout. But you cannot run from what is inside your own veins. The Codex of Silhouettes names the third pillar, the vessels breaking. As I drove through the night, the translation finally clicked in my head.
I realized why the elites are so terrified of 2026. It's not because they will lose their power, it's because we will gain ours. The prophecy states, when the silence is absolute, the blood will sing. The sleeper shall awake, not from rest, but from the limitation of the flesh. The documents predict a global phenomenon in late 2026. The authorities will call it a mass hysteria or a neurological anomaly. They might even label it a pandemic to try and medicate it away. But it won't be a sickness. It will be an upgrade. The unseen hand is preparing to alter human consciousness. The Codex describes symptoms, visage, shared dreams where strangers meet in the same landscape, a ringing in the ears that carries a frequency, not noise, sudden intuitions that defy logic. I think it's already starting. The narrator rubs his temples aggressively, wincing in pain. Since I found the file, the headaches haven't stopped. It's like a pressure building behind my eyes. I thought it was stress, but now I realize I'm not just reading the prophecy. I am becoming part of it, and so are you. The unseen hand isn't just moving chess pieces on a board. It is tuning an instrument, and we are the instrument. The powers that control this world want us to keep low vibration, fearful, divided. Because if the third pillar falls, if the biological lock on our consciousness is broken, they can no longer lie to us. We will know the truth, not because we read it, but because we feel it. They're going to try to offer you a cure in 2026, a way to stop the dreams, a way to silence the ringing. Do not take it. The pain you are feeling, the anxiety, the feeling that you don't belong in this world anymore, that isn't depression. That is the shell cracking. You are being prepared for what comes after the year ends. They're here. I have one last thing to say. The conclusion of the prophecy, the final directive of the unseen hand. If they take me, the video will auto-upload. You need to know how to survive the transition. I need to know if the process has already begun in you. Have you been waking up at 3 a.m. for no reason? Have you heard the high-pitched frequency when the room is silent? Tell me. Don't let me be the only one. Comment, "I hear the frequency," below.
They are breaking the lock. I have maybe 30 seconds. Listen to me. This is the end of the Codex. The final entry doesn't predict a date, it predicts a choice. The unseen hand didn't destroy the economy, the technology, and our biology to kill us. It did it to free us. The year 2026 is a birth canal. It is going to be painful. It is going to be terrifying. But on the other side of that darkness is a world where we are no longer slaves to their systems, their debt, or their lies. They are trying to stop this video because they know the secret. The unseen hand isn't just divine will. It is us. It is the collective awakening of humanity. When we all wake up, their game ends. You are the backup drive. You are the contingency plan. When the screens go black, you must find each other. Trust your intuition. Trust the ringing in your ears. It is your compass. I need you to do one thing. Not for me, I'm done. But for the algorithm. We have to trick their machine to save our minds. If you are ready to face 2026, if you are ready to be the unseen hand, you must leave a mark right now. Like this video, not because it's content, but because every like acts as a digital flare signaling to the algorithm that this truth must be spread before they pull the plug. Light the flare. And subscribe, not for a channel, but to enlist in the resistance. By subscribing, you are marking yourself as awake. You are building the network that will survive the blackout. The year 2026 is coming. Are you prepared?